Hey everyone, it's me Doomlink and welcome back to Doomlink's Random Hunts. It's always good to be back here and I'm definitely going to try to upload more random hunts. Seriously. I think I said that last time, but I'm actually serious now. It's happening. We are two-manning a Copper Blangonga, who is a monster that is exclusive to Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. He is G rank only. And he is obviously a subspecies of Blangonga, who is a monster that I really hate. That is to say, Blangonga. I think Copper Blangonga is quite fine. I just really don't like the snow version. And it's unfortunate that the snow version is the one that we keep on seeing returning to the game. I really don't like that at all. Where is the starting point for Copper? I think it's... You see, I usually fight him in the old desert. But this is a little confusing. Okay, so he's starting over there. I hope I'm going in the right direction. I'm assuming he starts in the Diablo's starting point. I'm not going to waste a Farcaster in case I need it for whatever reason. Of course, using a Farcaster might actually get me to where I want to go a little faster. Get it? Farcaster rhymes with faster. I don't really know. I don't know if that's a joke. Oh, it is not the Diablo's starting area. So the weakness here is freeze for, well, freeze I'd say, that's the name of the shot time. But the weakness is, of course, ice. And I'm using my auto-reload heavy bowgun. My typical auto-reload heavy bowgun for use with this armor set is actually the Azure Laoshanlong heavy bowgun, or Ashen Laoshanlong heavy bowgun, however you want to refer to that. But unfortunately that doesn't shoot ice, so I have a different gun for ice. And fortunately it does shoot water as well, so water is actually the secondary weakness for Copper Blangonga. It is nowhere near as much of a damage output of, well, the damage output is nowhere near that of freeze going up against Copper Blangonga, but at least I'll be able to do a little bit of damage with it. So I don't know if freeze actually has a piercing capability here. It looks as if it does. Yeah, I think it does. Or it might just be a visual effect. To my understanding, the only... Oh, that was a bit stupid of me. The only piercing elemental shots in this game, I think, are Thunder and possibly Dragon, although I have not used Dragon recently, so I couldn't say for sure. Of course, when you're playing a lot of different Monster Hunter games, it does eventually get a little bit confusing as to what happens in what game, like how the shot types change and all that. I do remember most differences, but certain ones do slip the mind. So yeah, Copper Blangonga, I think the last time I was hunting him on camera, someone was repeatedly flashbombing him, and I've talked about how annoying that is. Actually, somewhat recently in my Doomlink's Life Hunt series, where someone in Generations Ultimate was repeatedly flashing a Rajang. It's the exact same thing here in 2nd Generation, going up against a Copper Blangonga, for example. You do not want to be flashing monkeys because flashing them does not help. But this time around we are just two-manning this Copper Blangonga, which I suppose is a good way to showcase the monster, because he'll be going after me a lot more frequently, and we're not going to have stupid flash bombs all over the place. Of course, flash bombs in 2nd Generation are extremely bright. You basically can't see anything for a full second, maybe even a little more than a second. But yeah, auto-reload, for those who are not familiar, is actually a skill that died after this game. It was obviously deemed to be broken. The way in which they tried to balance it was by making all guns that had auto-reload, well, that is to say, if you have auto-reload active, all guns receive maximum recoil. However, not all shot types work based on recoil. In other words, elemental shot types and normal shot types do not actually have any relationship with your recoil stat on your gun. So therefore, you can shoot pretty normally. You're not going to have any recoil with an elemental shot or a normal shot while using auto-reload, which is why auto-reload as a skill, while it would be incredibly overpowered with, for example, pierce shot times, it is still very powerful with elemental and normal shot times. And for that reason, they realized, well, their balancing technique didn't really work so well. It's not extremely out of balance, but I understand why they would not have it return. The skills that I have are auto-reload, evade distance up, and elemental attack up. Not very impressive when you compare it to skills that you can get in later Monster Hunter games, but getting mixed sets with lots of skills in this game is kind of difficult for the reason that you do not have a talisman system. The talisman system was first introduced in Monster Hunter Tri, and it really opened up many possibilities for mixed sets. Here in this game, you have only got decorations and the actual armor skills that you have on the armor pieces, which means that if you want specific skills, there is a very good chance that you're not going to be able to get additional ones. You know, skills that you don't necessarily really need but can help, when coupled with the skills that you really want, yeah, you're pretty much only getting the skills that you really want, save for a very small number of sets that just happen to work well with what you want. And sometimes you need a compromise, sometimes you have to make a concession. You really want some specific skill, and then you think, well, if I actually get a different skill, I can get lots of other skills on top of it because it correlates with an armor piece that will get you 10 points in other good skills, you know. So, it really is a balancing game, but for the most part, I go for functionality over just fashion. You could really call it fashion, but it's an aesthetic thing to have lots of skills. But the reality is that I do not use heavy bowgun without evade extender. And evade extender, well, it's called evade distance up, I think, yes, evade distance up. Well, the thing is, that's not a great skill to have for mixed sets. It's really kind of not the easiest skill to facilitate many skills in total on your end skill list. So yeah. Oh, got a little bit greedy there, but fortunately I avoided that. Oh, it's dangerous, but I keep surviving somehow. Whatever works. Snapping onto target, but unfortunately the sensitivity is a little different to what I'm used to with guns. So I'm on water shots now. I couldn't say for sure if I'm doing more damage with water shots versus normal level 2, but I'm going to go with water because I do have an element set here. So my hope is that thanks to element attack up, shooting water will do slightly more damage than normal. But I do need to hit the weakness, which I believe is the head elementally. Although I could always be wrong. In terms of me running out of ammo, or the possibility of me running out of ammo, I can only hope that I don't. I can tell you it's going to be quite possible for me to run out of ammo if I keep on missing all of my shots. Unfortunately, Copper Blangonga does move quite a lot, which is one of the reasons why I'm going ranged. While it is a little hard to keep yourself on target if you suck, I don't really suck, it's just I'm not doing particularly well in this hunt, I guess. But yeah, while it is hard to keep on target, or at least something of a challenge, you don't have to continuously run up to the monster, like catching up to it. That's what I hate about fast-paced hunts. If you're using a Blade Master weapon, you're constantly having to run after the monster. It affects your DPS. And ultimately, that's the good thing about guns. It's high DPS. That's the reason why, if you get a full gunner team, the monster gets shat on. It's not because guns are particularly powerful. It's just that, by design, you don't have to be running after the monster the whole time to get your hits in. You can just shoot from a distance. All you need to do is evade, and then start shooting, unless you're really out of critical distance. But it still works out to be much higher DPS than a Blade Master, unless you're extremely efficient with your evasions with DPS. No, with Blade Master. Evasions with DPS, well, that is the key balance of hunting. Keeping away from the monster, while also hitting it as much as you can. Alright. I don't think we're doing too bad. We seem to be knocking him down and flinching him a bit, so that's good to see. DPS is pretty much the greatest advantage of auto-reload. You could imagine that having to reload on top of all the evading that I'm doing right now would really hurt my DPS. I probably should have brought needleberries. I did bring huskberries, so I don't know what the hell I was doing not bringing needleberries. I might actually have to go into the box and get some ammunition if he's still not dead. Anyway, my damage here is 526, which is quite high. Inflated Raw. So this is not too bad, damage-wise. I'm sure it's just a little bit less than the Laoshan Lung Heavy Bowgun, but it's still quite good. If it is less, it's only like 30 or so inflated raw less. Alright, let's be nice and careful here. He might go after me because yes. Well, I had the least health, so I decided that he would probably go after me. I don't know if there is such a targeting system for monsters. Probably not. If anything, it would just make sense that, by luck, I would be the one to be targeted. It's usually how it is. Alright. Let's get in range. Of course, we are using normal, so it is important for us to be within critical distance. As I understand it, Elemental does not have a critical distance value for the reason that Elemental shots do not actually have physical damage. They do scale off your physical damage, however, it is not physical damage dealt to the monster, therefore critical distance doesn't play a part. That's my understanding of it. It basically just applies a set amount of elemental damage that will ultimately scale off your gun damage, your end attack value. But I don't really get into the mathematics of Monster Hunter. I just think of it logically. I think, well, what would make sense? And that's what comes to mind. So, if I'm wrong, don't blame me. I will tell you not to listen to everything that I say. Sometimes when I'm doing a commentary, I'll listen back a few years later and I'll go, well, that's not right. I know that's not true, and I'm surprised I didn't know that wasn't true at the time. What I've come to realize is that my understanding of Monster Hunter actually fluctuates. Sometimes, like, let's imagine this year I'll know something, and then next year I won't know that, because I will have somehow forgotten it, and then the year afterwards I will have remembered it again. It's really weird. So that's what I mean by fluctuating knowledge on Monster Hunter. Can't really explain it, other than I guess my brain works in mysterious ways. But I do like the targeting system of second generation Monster Hunter. I suppose it's the same as first generation, really. It's just a nice, simple crosshair. Nothing too fancy. Not that I would ask for modern Monster Hunter games to do that, it's just, it's a nice thing to see when you go back to the older games. That's what I mean to say. It would have less value if it were to be that way in the newer games. It wouldn't feel like a nice, quaint, rustic thing. Well, I don't know if rustic is the word. I guess pleasantly classic? I don't know. In a slightly different way to rustic, anyway. But simplicity actually has a certain value to it. And in certain cases I do enjoy the simplicity of second generation Monster Hunter. Not in all senses, because I don't really like the simplicity of weapon designs. I think the weapons are way too simple. But that's only in hindsight. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons right now. But yeah, it's only through comparison with modern day Monster Hunter games that weapon types in this game really have limited ability to do anything. But when this game came out, it felt pretty normal. I wasn't, you know, using the weapons when Freedom Unite came out thinking, God, these weapons barely do anything. But it really did. Well, for those who played older Monster Hunter when they played Tri, it definitely served to open one's eyes to just how much Tri had improved on second generation Monster Hunter. It's about the same sort of leap. Well, I suppose you wouldn't say leap from 4th generation to 5th generation in all regards, because leap almost suggests that it is an objective evolution. I would say things just changed, either for the worse or for the better. But, referring to 5th from 4th, but definitely things changed for the better from 2nd to 3rd, in that the weapons just became more interesting. There was more that you could do with them, and they flowed better in combat. Whereas if we look at 5th generation changes to weapons like the Greatsword, you know, having to greed for true charge to get the most damage, the way in which heavy bowguns and light bowguns changed with the way shots move through the air, they basically float to the monster and it just looks wrong. Little things like that. Not so much an evolution as it is a change that may or may not be better. But anyway, hopefully we can actually get into a hunt with a few more people next time. But in the meantime, I will go and get that hunt organised. I'll see you then. Alright, so our next hunt is actually going to be Lavasioth. I think I also did Lavasioth somewhat recently, which would stand to reason, because this is actually also a key quest. So the previous quest that we did, which was Copper Blangonga, was a key quest for Demayas, and now he's doing Lavasioth, which is also a key quest. So I'm guessing that someone else must have been doing their key quests previously. And it looks like we've got a group of 4 as well, which is good to see. So I'll see you guys when we depart on the quest. Alright, and we are departing on the Lavasioth quest. I actually should have shown you my armor set. I'm using a rapid water bow. I think this is the first time in a very, very long time I've used a water rapid bow. I don't even remember the last time I used this thing. But anyway, this is my set here. It's actually got a lot of skills. It's because it's a full set and it's the Puppet Master set. In other words, the Gunner set for Raja. And really, they're mostly just placeholder skills. Well, I say placeholder, more like just skills there for the sake of existing. You've got Dragon Res +5, which is obviously going to be in no way helpful for this hunt. And then, oh, I'm being stupid. I had a feeling he started here, but I didn't see him, so I decided to check the other area, but he's here alright. And then, of course, the other skill is Stealth, which I was not going to use if we were 2-manning again. I was going to use a different bow set. But yeah, Rapid is not my typical bow style. I much prefer Spread, or Scatter as it's referred to in this game. I either go Spread or Pierce. I feel like that generally takes care of the different types of monsters that I might find. In other words, something that doesn't really work so well with Pierce is likely going to work rather well with Scatter. So, there you go. In terms of Scatter as a translation, I think it's actually more accurate. How it works is that the translations, to my understanding, that changed between 2nd generation and 3rd generation actually did not change for the better in terms of accuracy. They instead changed because they looked better in English. So, in other words, the original translations were more accurate, but maybe they just didn't end up looking as good. So, that was the reason why changes were made, not because the translation was inaccurate or anything like that. And I think most would agree that Spread sounds better than Scatter. But for the sake of, you know, referring to the way it was referred to, well, that's a stupid way to explain it. For the sake of, I guess, being in line with the way things are in this game, I will call it Scatter. If you want to know what's scattered, it's my ability to communicate. Oh, here we go. Let's go for the head because we are indeed using normal here. It's a little bit less of a focused shot. It's basically just a vertical version of Scatter in this game. Depending on how far you are, the shots can go quite off target. But you don't want to be far away, that's the point. I don't think Lavasioth is going to last much longer. It's not looking good for him. We will try to aim for the head where we can. I'm assuming that that is the main weak point. Don't know what the elemental weak point would be though. I have a feeling it would be the fins or something like that. Ooh, get away. Fortunately, that rock pile right there saved me from getting hit. I'll take that. I don't have any dash juice here. It's called, it's not called dash juice in this game. It's called... Why have I forgotten the name of it? It's like... I think it's just juice or something like that. I know Mega Dash Juice is Mega Juice, so I don't know what regular Dash Juice is called. Is it just called Juice? I don't really get it, but... yeah. I don't have any Mega Juice, so I'm just going to have to be sensible with my stamina management. I don't know if you've noticed that I've been targeted very little, but you would expect that to be the case given that I have Stealth, which is the 2nd gen name for Sneak. I don't know why Sneak had to be changed from Stealth. I mean, Stealth seems to indicate pretty clearly what the skill does, but whatever. Maybe Sneak is the more accurate translation, I don't know. But yes, the weakness for Lavasioth is water. And there are 2 of us going water bow. One of us is going Pierce, and the other is going Rapid. I'm the Rapid guy. Clearly. But I would say Rapid is fairly fun. It's just I don't feel the need to go Rapid all the time. And of course the reason why I'm going ranged again is because this is not a fun quest or a fun monster to hunt if you're going Blade Master, because he likes to do that big flopping maneuver where he launches himself into the air and flops down on the ground. I hate that. We haven't seen that too much this hunt, but he definitely does it. And that's the reason why I don't go Blade Master with this guy. He just has a lot of attacks that affect his immediate area. Oh, that looks like a head break. Although it doesn't visually look broken. The only thing that really hinted at the fact that it was broken was the little break animation that takes place. You can actually see like a white effect that plays that would indicate that something's broken. But outside of that, it doesn't really look broken. He just looks like that. That's the attack that I'm talking about. That's the one that causes me to not bother with Blade Master Lavasioth. It's just not worth it. So we can expect 4 calves here, because this is a Piscine Wyvern. A big Wyvern stone, which is pretty decent luck. Not too hard to get, but you know, not something to sneeze at. And I think this is carve number 4. I'm about to sneeze. Quite appropriate timing, in fact. If I ever say I'm about to sneeze and then you don't hear a sneeze, it's because I cut it out. It's not because I just said that I was sneezing for fun, and I actually wasn't going to sneeze. Let's see what we can gather here. That was bone husks. I was thinking we would get special kind of bones, given that it's right by lava, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Not that I had a specific bone in mind, but yeah, seems to be pretty standard stuff. I won't remove it because it's not harming anyone. I do always routinely put things away back in my box if I don't need them at the end of a hunt. And it's easy too, because the box is right outside the departure door. Nice and simple. In fact, the pub designs for online hubs are always the best because they're nice and small. Everything that you need is in a small area. Hub designs like the one in Generations, just terrible. Not Generations Ultimate. The Hunter's Pub is good, that's exactly what you want. But the high rank location? I think it's like the... it's called the Hub or something like that. But I can't remember the full name. But it's this huge area. It's not... I understand that it might look nice, but we need functionality over aesthetics at this point, because you want to be close to everything that you need to access here. I can depart right here, I can go to my box right here, I can buy items right here, quest board is right here, and then I can pick a quest right here. I don't have to go very far. That's the point. And I can also accept these expedition quests right here. Everything is within a short distance of everything else. So, there you go. That's the way you do a hub. It is in sort of a tavern location. That's how it was in first generation. At least, you know, offline. Not including the city modes. But, yeah. That's the best way to do it. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next time.